Alright, hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video I'm going to be reviewing the newest sci-fi adventure film from director Britt Bird, and that film, guys, is Tomorrowland. That's right, guys, I took a journey into the beyond, and I went to Tomorrowland. I'm just kidding. I just watched the movie. No, but seriously, guys, Tomorrowland is, again, as I said, the newest sci-fi adventure film. It's from Disney, and it is from director Britt Bird, who has only done one other live-action film post to this, but he has a pretty decent filmography. He's done The Iron Giant, nice reference, by the way, in this movie. He's done the two films for Pixar, two animated films for Pixar, Incredibles and Ratatouille, and most recently he just directed Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which is hailed as one of the best of this series. Now, I love The Incredibles and Ratatouille, two really good animated films, but since I haven't seen Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, as I heard that Britt Bird was directing Tomorrowland, I said to myself, yeah, I'm going to have to go see the movie. I want to see what Britt Bird can do with a live-action film with George Clooney in it. So I definitely got excited for it. And before I knew anything about this movie, I had read up about it. It was probably like last year when they released a synopsis for the film or something. I read that the film was being based off of, like, I took it as it was being based off of the entire Walt Disney Studios. Like, just when you go to Disney in Florida, that's what this film was based off of. I thought that's what this was going into it. It turns out I misread something when I read that online. This film is based off one specific theme park attraction that is in Disney. When you go to Disney in Florida, there's a theme park called Tomorrowland, and they made a movie based off of the theme park. So I think that's pretty cool in its own right. I myself have never been to Orlando, Florida. I've never been to Disney, but and then I said to myself, yeah, gonna have to go check out the movie. It's the summer movie season. We have Poltergeist coming out this weekend, which I will be seeing, but looks bad. So I said I'll check out Tomorrowland first. With that said, guys, let's get into my review, actually get into my review of Tomorrowland. The first thing I'm going to start doing is talking about the plot of the film. And in this movie, guys, we have George Clooney playing a man who is driven by his imagination, I would say. He has great aspirations to use his mind and make great things with his mind. I'm just going to say that much. And he's felt that way ever since he was a young boy. He attends this World Fair in the 1960s, and when he attends this fair, with his own invention, he discovers the world of Tomorrowland. It's this futuristic world. It's like high-tech. It's so positive, and it's clean, and it's just mind-blowing. It's something that any person who is a dreamer or wants to achieve something, who has big aspirations for something, they would lose their mind if they see this place. Flash forward all these years later to the present day in, I guess, 2015, and we have another character that the film focuses on, a young teenage girl who's played by Britt Robertson. She also is sort of like this type of person who's the dreamer, the person who has a big imagination or has hopes for something big. And she finds this pin with a big T on it. I'm sure you've seen it in the trailers. And once she touches this pin, she gets to see the world, into the world of Tomorrowland. So once she discovers this pin, she wants to find out what it means. She wants to know why she keeps going into this world when she touches it. And therefore, she's going to cross paths with George Clooney, who is now years older and still we'll never forget about the experience he had when he was in Tomorrowland. And that's all I'm going to say about the movie, guys. I don't want to spoil anything because there's a lot of other plot points that go on in this film, and I don't think they were given away in the trailer, which is why I'm not going to give them away here in my review, so I'm just going to leave it at that for you guys. But basically, when you break this movie down, it's a time travel movie. That's what Tomorrowland is. It's a time travel movie that deals with the past. Even though the characters in this film do not specifically go back in time to the past, we just see what happens in the past through flashbacks. However, in the movie, the characters do go to the future, this futuristic world of Tomorrowland. It's different. It's got people who are riding around on jetpacks, and you have aerial transportation, Metro North that's in the sky, and everything's high tech, and people are talking to each other with these insane devices that wrap around their eyes and everything, or wrap around their face. You see it throughout the scenes that are in Tomorrowland. And this whole world just looks so breathtaking when we first get to see it. We're like, damn, I actually want to go there. Like, the name of this movie is Tomorrowland. And that is one of the main settings of the entire film. So, you know the filmmakers want to get you to say to yourself, yeah, that place is awesome, I want to go there. But after having seen the whole movie, I can't help but say, damn, I wish I had seen more of that place so I would want to go to it even more. Guys, I'm saying this much with Tomorrowland. This is a very entertaining movie that looks freaking incredible. I'm not going to lie. This is one of the best visually looking films I've seen of the year so far, probably. I mean, we've had 2 other really visually stunning films in the last 3 weeks, but Tomorrowland is definitely up there amongst those films. I mean, in terms of the way this film was directed, in terms of the way it was shot and lit, in terms of the visual effects, this film is definitely a technical bewilderment. This film will definitely captivate you as you're watching it, and you're just going to be stunned at what you're watching. There are some amazing action scenes, one of which was terribly spoiled in the trailer, one of the trailers for me, and I was very upset because it is one of the best scenes of the movie by far in terms of what they did with the camera work and in terms of the actual action and visual effects. It just blows me away, that scene, to this day. It's one of the best scenes of the movie. All of that is riding on this movie. This movie has all of that, all of those positives. The only downfall of the film is that, along with a few other minor problems I had with the movie, is that the movie's called Tomorrowland, and I couldn't help but say to myself as I left the theater, boy, I wish we got more Tomorrowland. I would say about 60% of this movie is set on Earth. And I get that because you're establishing this world. It's the first movie. This is an original sci-fi time travel movie. So you have to establish this world. So you got to spend most of your time in the present day on Earth. I mean, that's just what you have to do. But I couldn't help but be slightly upset that this movie is called Tomorrowland, and what we see of the film in the beginning and in the middle slightly, you just want more of that, but you're only getting about 40 to 30% of that as you're watching the actual movie, and it's very disappointing. There is one long like 2-minute tracking shot in this film as Britt Robertson's character is exploring the world of Tomorrowland at some point in the middle of the film, and I gotta say, it's the best tracking shot I've seen since Birdman, okay? And that entire movie is one long tracking shot. I mean, I know that they have transitions in the movie. They didn't keep the camera rolling for literally that whole shot. I mean, obviously they made a cut somewhere, but they had nice transitions so you could hardly tell there was a cut. But trust me, they made it look like one long tracking shot. This whole shot, we see the world of Tomorrowland through the eyes of Britt Robertson, and she's walking around exploring the place, you know, seeing all these things. We see her awe, and she's just totally in love with this place as she's looking at it. And that is really one of the best moments we have of a glimpse at this place. Other than that, we have a few other scenes, but we don't get to see what we saw in that one long tracking shot. I just couldn't help but feel kind of cheated as I was watching the movie. Because I was like, damn, this is so cool, this world. I want to spend the whole movie in this world, but we don't get that, unfortunately. And that's one of the downfalls of the movie. Now, if they were to make a sequel, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if they would set the entire thing in the world of Tomorrowland. I get you got it set up, but I just couldn't help but feel that we didn't get what we wanted by not having them not show us the world that just looked amazing when we see it. That was just a little bit of a problem I had with the film. There are other problems I do have with the film. Apart from the fact that, as I said earlier, what is really good going for this film, the way it was directed, Brad Bird definitely is talent behind the camera. And I haven't seen Ghost Protocol yet because I haven't seen the other Mission Impossible movies. But having seen this, I definitely do want to watch Ghost Protocol now because I can tell the guy can do a very well job directing a live action movie. Because the way the camera moves, and yes, his cinematographer, his camera operators, they were really on point with this film because the cinematography is just beyond gorgeous. The way the shots are framed, not one shot looks poorly framed or lit for that matter. The lighting is great. All that just looked amazing. And then with the visual effects of the robots and everything in the film and seeing this world, it's just a beautiful moment in this movie. The score is incredible. George Clooney was very good in the film, and I gotta say this much: this was one of the those movies. It's been such a long time that I've seen George Clooney in a movie, and I didn't say to myself as I was watching the movie, "Yeah, that's George Clooney being himself." Yes, as I was watching the movie, because I forgot his character's name several times, I said to myself, "Oh, there's George Clooney's character. What's he gonna do now?" But not when I said that to myself, I didn't mean literally, "Oh, look, it's just George Clooney being himself," because you know how George Clooney is. He's just a devilishly handsome actor in his 50s. All the women love, but I definitely did not feel that I was watching this movie. I mean, you feel that when you're watching Gravity with all of his, you know, all of his lines of dialogue in that film. But with Tomorrowland, you do not feel that at all. And I definitely have to commend the screenwriters and George Clooney himself for not making him feel like George Clooney, if that makes any sense. And then when you get into the problems I did have, unfortunately, with the film, as I said, my biggest problem is that we didn't get to see enough of Tomorrowland. But the script itself could have definitely been fixed up a bit. I thought that the first two acts were very, very solid, in my opinion. They were really strong. They set up the plot, the conflict that was going on, and I was into it. Then we get to the third act, and the movie goes all interstellar on us. I'm not even joking. And not only did it just get very messy, but I just felt like I lost the awe that I had in the first two acts of the film, and I definitely just didn't really feel anything as I was watching the third act. I'm like, this is just very bland. It's just not that exciting, in my opinion. I don't know why. I just felt that as I watched the film. And I also thought in terms of the screenwriting, the humor just wasn't working. Now, I did see this movie with several other people in my audience, and they weren't laughing either, so that's never a good sign, just saying. But with all that said, along with the fact, and I didn't mention Britt Robertson yet for a reason when I talked about how good Clooney was in the film. Britt Robertson, she was in Under the Dome, not a good show. That's the type of show, it's so bad it's funny, and she herself in that show was kind of bad, it was funny. She's alright in this movie. She's given most of the terribly unfunny lines of dialogue in this movie, or she does things that try to warrant humor and that just didn't work. I don't think not one member of my audience cracked a laugh out, like they laughed out loud when something happened. I'm just like, okay, don't do this. Stop. Okay. And I don't know if it was definitely the script, but also Britt Robertson's deliveries, line deliveries in some moments just felt off. I don't think. I mean, honestly, they could have cast anyone in this lead role. I mean, she was fine, I guess. But yeah, she was all right. And although I really do like the ending of the film, again, one of my biggest problems is that the third act, things just really fall apart. And not only had the humor just been off for the entire movie, but in my opinion, the third act, I think, should have been the most exciting. But we get to see a different side of Tomorrowland without spoiling anything, and I was just let down, ultimately. And I know that the film really is stressing the themes of how important it is to be a dreamer and how important it is to be creative and have an imagination. I think they did a really good job of stressing that in the end of the movie. I think they could have done a better job stressing that throughout the entire film if I had to critique that one part of the film. But yeah, guys, that's how I feel about Tomorrowland. Ultimately, I went to the movie. I didn't have high expectations for this movie, but going into it, It could have been a lot better than it was. It did have some nice moments to it. The action was great. It looks incredible. Every single technical aspect worked perfectly. Everything was on point in terms of technical aspects. It was just a few of the script moments. The story itself could have been improved on. You know, the use of Tomorrowland and Britt Robertson was okay. Other than that, I'm going to say Tomorrowland is decent. It's nothing that you have to rush out and go see. I'm going to give Tomorrowland a grade of an 8.25 out of 10 or a B-. I would say see it on a cheap night. You know, don't spend anything over $7.50 on the movie. Definitely check it out at some point, maybe as a rental. I think you'll find enjoyment of it. I think it's a good family film. By the way, I am getting tired of them starting. I hate, and they did this several times in the movie. It's a minor nitpick, and that's because I'm older. But if you're going to have a character say a curse word, make them say it. Don't have them say half of it and then not have them say the rest. I don't know how many times George Clooney in this movie said, "son of a," and then they cut it. Alright, that's... what are you going to do? Anyway, guys, that's how I feel about Tomorrowland. Let me know down below in the comments, guys, what did you think of Tomorrowland? Was it good? Do you feel it could have been improved on? Leave me your thoughts on it down below, and thanks a lot for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.